Okay, so after you've set everything up and you got labeled and everything labeled, because remember, we want to be able to tell the user what they want and what they need to enter. We're going to add a few more things now. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add 2 buttons. One button. We're going to add a second button. That's not perfect. I'm going to set it up a little differently anyway. And then what we're going to do is we are going to add in a text view. Now, text view you can also type in. So in this case, you can type in like responses and long things. And when a user taps the text view, a keyboard appears. That's not how we're going to use it. We are just going to use it because it allows us to scroll for longer stories, because some of them might not necessarily fit on the screen. So we are going to help give it that opportunity. And especially with some of the longer stories, you have less space because you have all these boxes. And I'm sure however you're doing, you're trying to maximize the space, but just truth be told is that it's not a lot of space, and if you want to make a big sentences, then you want to be able to have the user scroll through it. So that's what we're going to use. Okay. And now we got to connect these. So we're going to connect the buttons as outlets up here, and we're going to call this one, we're going to call this enter button. And we're going to call this one, we're going to keep it as an outlet, we're going to call this one reset button. Okay. Now, and then we're going to call this Madlibs text view. And notice it's UI text view. Okay, so connect. So we've got a lot of things connected here, and that's totally fine. All right. Now, further down here below the story, we are going to connect the buttons again, and now what we're going to do is, remember, this one is the enter button, so this is going to be enter button pressed, which is the action of the button, and this one will be I can't even spell reset button pressed. And this will be the action of the reset button being pressed, and just leave everything touch up inside, hit connect. Okay. So now we're kind of set. Give yourself a little space in there. Now we're kind of set to start kind of creating what we're going to do. And now that we have these set up, first thing we're going to do is we are actually going to we're going to copy this. So you can either hit Command C or you can hit Command X, which will make it disappear. And we're going to place it in enter button pressed. Okay. So we have to move that in here. So please don't forget to do that. It's kind of important for the next step. And the next step is to basically set each name here to the property of the text field. So that sounds insane. So when we start doing this, like I said, we're going to delete the G, add the G back, and notice we get the pop-up for text field. So we're going to hit text field. Now, what we want to do is we want to grab something specifically out of the text field. So this is where we're going to get in and start getting into properties. And everything in Swift has like a property. And the property, the way to get the property is adding a period. So that is the dot. And we are going to, and if you look at this, you can see all kinds of different things. You can set different options and capitalizations and backgrounds and border styles. And I mean, there's just a million things that you can do and call on in these programs. But we are going to look specifically for the dot text. Okay, and even when we get dot text, look at all the options. You can get alignment, color. So way different way of doing this. And then what we're going to do here, because we have a little bit of an error, not an error necessarily, but we're going to add an exclamation point. An exclamation point, what that does is it forces whatever we enter here to become a string and show up in our message. Okay, you don't necessarily have to understand that, but you do have to do it. Okay, because a lot of times if you leave it blank, it would error out, and we are just going to accept it no matter what. It's going to show up in the string. Okay, so I want you to kind of go through your project, your multi-line string Madlibs here, and I want you to add in everything that you need to add, and then we will start up after you guys get this done, and we can start having it show up into the program. Okay, so once you get all that done, the next step is we basically have to set when we press our enter button that this text will show up differently. Okay, so if you haven't designed your button, design your button. So I'm going to do that right now, and I will be back with you in a short second.